We live in a country that has incredible abundance. But if you were to add up all of the hungry people in Los Angeles County and its contiguous counties as well, you'd have a state of hunger the size of New Mexico or West Virginia, 2.5 million people. To me, it is a mandate for us to do better around this. And it's so simple. It's just sharing abundance. My name's Rick Namias. I'm founder and executive director of Food Forward. Our mission is to recover fresh produce that would otherwise go to waste and get it to people in need. We started in 2009, and it really was just walking around my neighborhood and seeing all these fruit trees dripping with citrus that I realized that with a few volunteers, there might be a project here that I could help facilitate. 8.5 years later and 43 million pounds later, here we are. We have fed over 1.5 million people this year. We have 3 programs. Backyard harvest, literally going into folks' homes who have agreed to have us in there, taking excess produce from their trees, sometimes their gardens. The second program that was added a couple of years later was farmers market recovery. We're at about 24 farmers markets every single week with volunteer teams. And then the big one is the wholesale recovery, which works kind of under cloak of darkness. We get up super early, usually before the sun even comes up, and are out there with our trucks gathering pallets and entire truckloads of food that is perfectly viable, but for whatever reason would otherwise end up in a trash dump. We're looking at things that just might have a slight discoloration or a slight bruise on them. It still has weeks left to its life, but it's not perfect, and that's where we get called. We have learned that hunger hides in plain sight here in society. There should be no shame around it. Unfortunately, there is. But the more that we bring abundance out and really give people food with dignity and give them quality, healthy, nutritious food, these issues will slowly go away.
Indian weddings are really huge. On an average Indian wedding, there is always 100 to 150 plates of excess food. That's where we are coming in, collecting it and distributing it to the needy. Indians produce 10.8% of the world's food, but we have more and more people hungry in India, sleeping without food. I am Padmanabhan Gopalan. I started non-profit No Food Waste in 2014. No Food Waste is an excess food recovery network that collects untouched surplus food from various events and parties and delivers to the hunger spots across the city, like orphanages, slums, old age homes, dump yards, and government hospitals. As of today, we have collected and distributed about 285,000 plates of food to the needy people. We launched a helpline number that is displayed across the marriage halls and the hotels. When there is excess food, people call to this helpline number. Then we organized pickups with our vehicles, and this food is being served within 4 hours of collection. No Food Waste initially started in Coimbatore, and now we are in almost 10 cities. It is only because of volunteers. The number of calls is very huge. Right now, we are able to cover only 30 to 35% of the calls what we receive. To arrange logistics and infrastructure to recover food from all these marriage halls becomes a challenge. People are generally aware of food waste problem in their marriages and events, but they were not aware of what to do with this excess food. There is no words to explain the pain of hunger. The success of No Food Waste is to see a food waste free India and a hunger free India. When we collected all this food and delivered it to the slums in different areas, people feel happy about it, and seeing smiles on those people makes us really happy to continue this job. Feed people, not landfills.
produce industry does not have the right to dump nutritious product that can go to families who are in need. Borderlands Food Bank rescues between 30 to 40 million pounds of produce annually, and we've been doing it for 21 years. My name is Yolanda Soto, and I am the CEO President of Borderlands Food Bank. We are an organization that rescues fresh produce. We get it to families all over the state of Arizona and 19 other states within the nation. We saw there was a tremendous amount of fresh produce coming across at our port of entry here from Mexico, and a lot of it could not be sold. It could be because it had some scarring. It could be because it had some rain stain. And so they were actually dumping it in the landfill. We saw that the product was extremely good for human consumption. So we began educating the produce industry. We've gone to each individual distributor. We've offered them our services and said, do not dump. Allow us to rescue it and get it to families so that they can eat nutritiously. The driver comes back to the warehouse, he's got a trailer load of product, and he begins to get unloaded. We take up the produce to the sites and we set it up like a farmer's market, all done by volunteers from the host site. For a $10 contribution, the supporter can select 60 pounds of produce. Pretty good, 17 cents a pound. It's important to us to get it to as many families as possible before it perishes, because I think that people have the right to eat nutritiously. It's the most basic of needs. Thank you. Have a great day. We have the responsibility to stop waste, and we have the responsibility to help the people in our own backyard.
This is what it sounds like when 3,500 people are eating together. And another 3,500, and another. In total today, the Shirdi Sai Baba temple in Maharashtra, India will serve lunch to at least 40,000 people for free. And this happens every day, 365 days a year. The temple was built in 2008 around a specific philosophy by spiritual leader Sai Baba.
बाबा ये चाहते थे कि हर एक आदमी को खाना मिलना चाहिए, प्यासा हो उसको पानी मिलना चाहिए.
This is the man in charge.
मेरा नाम संजय लक्ष्मण कुंभार है. मैं प्रसादालय में सुपरवाइजर की हैसियत से काम करता हूँ.
He supervises the kitchen, or mega kitchen, as this is one of the largest in Asia. The day, it starts at 6:30 in the morning.
एक शिफ्ट में 300 लोग और दूसरे शिफ्ट में 300. टोटल 600 लोग काम करते हैं प्रसादालय पूरे दिन में. प्रसादालय सुबह 10 बजे शुरू होता है, रात को 10 बजे बंद होता है.
Some people are cooking vegetables, some clean utensils, some are responsible for the bread. You get it. Every day the meal is different, but the ratio is always the same.
एक थाली में एक ग्रीन सब्जी और एक कड़धान्य की सब्जी, दाल, चपाती, राइस, इतना देती सब.
To make these plates for 40,000 people a day, it takes a lot of food. Here are the numbers. 3.3 tons of bread, 2 tons of vegetables, nearly 1 ton of lentils, and half a ton of dessert. Now, to make all this food, the kitchen requires a lot of power.
ये सबसे बड़ा एशिया में नंबर 2 का प्रोजेक्ट है सोलर का.
The roof is covered in solar panels. So it's clear this temple's initiatives are something to be proud of.
सब संतुष्ट हो जाए, इसमें मुझे खुशी मिलती है और कुछ चाहिए.
The village of Kamikatsu is special, not for its tea fields or idyllic mountains or peaceful historic homes. It's known for something it doesn't have. Kamikatsu, as a town, produces almost no trash. Kamikatsu has a population of roughly 1,500 people, and in the 1990s was doing nearly no recycling.
で上勝町ではもともと田舎なので皆さん家庭から出たゴミはもう自分の庭で焼くとか、山にほかすと。
Burning all that garbage created carbon dioxide emissions that became dangerous, and the nature around them was suffering, so a decision was made. Kamikatsu had to change. This was the start of their path towards zero waste and a new way of living.
いわゆるゼロ・ウェイスト宣言というものを町として行って、このゼロ・ウェイストというものを掲げ始めたのは2003年になります。
Effectively, what zero waste here means is that there's no such thing as throwing something in the trash. Everything has to get recycled. And in the beginning, it was difficult for everyone. Like Mr. Takuya Takaichi. He's a shop owner in Kamikatsu.
ゼロウエスト運動が始まってから生活自体はやっぱりある意味ちょっと負担になりましたよね。分別する分と時間と前やってた生活よりはちょっと増えたんで負担にはなってきましたけど。
And Mrs. Hachiya Katayama. She's a housewife.
最初は全部プラもゴミも何も考えずに全部一緒に庭で焼いてたんですが、それが変わって今度分別方式になったら戸惑いがありました。
That classification system she's talking about is the key to Kamikatsu's success, and it is aggressive. There are 45 categories of recyclables.
アルミ缶、スチール缶、スプレー缶、金属製のキャップ、布、木製品、蛍光缶。
The list, it goes on. There's 35 more. Slowly, what was originally this huge burden became a way of life in Kamikatsu. People began looking at trash differently.
物を大事にするという気持ちが逆にできたというのが。仕入れに行って出るゴミで段ボールがやっぱり多いですね。きれい段ボールはまた再利用して梱包したりするに使えますね。
この町に来るまでは正直全くしてなくて、ゴミは全て一つのゴミ箱に捨てれたので、食べ残しとか基本コンポストに契約している農家さんの畑で堆肥になって、じゃあまたうちが使う野菜にまた変わるっていう、なんかちょっとした循環するサイクルができると、使う側としてもやっぱり意識は変わるし。
It's important to recognize that Kamikatsu is a small town. It is not like New York or London. The rules are not the same, but there is a constant, and that's people. They can change.
はい、ゼロ・ウェイストアカデミー坂野です。どんな社会問題も一緒だと思ってるんですけれども、取り組んだところでなくならないじゃないかって言ってしまったら終わりなんですよね。でそうやって意識が変わっていくと、巻き込む相手も対象も広がっていくから大きな動きになっていくよねという流れがすごく大事なのかなと思っています。
この町に来てゼロ・ウェイスト知ってで実際にやってみて、なんかこれはこれからやっぱり生きていく上ではすごく大事なことなんじゃないのかなと。料理してる人たち、例えば飲食に関わる人たちが、少し意識を変えればやっぱりそもそもの量がやっぱ減ると思うんで。
変なんやけど簡単なことなんやけどちょっとも考えて物を捨てるっていう、だからね物を大事にする気持ちは逆にできたね。負担が増えた分なんか違う部分の心の部分がなんか豊かになった分は確かにあるかな。